welcome to Ideagen TV. Today's an especially incredibly exciting day to talk about the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. Those 17 broad global goals that will hopefully be accomplished by 2030. Just a few short months ago, in January of 2020, we were looking at a runway leading into 2030 to achieve these goals. Now, several months into 2020, there's been a new and perhaps profound look at the goals, especially with the global pandemic. And in some areas, we've seen an acceleration toward achieving the goals, and others, perhaps some stumbling blocks. And I think we can all agree that based on the fact that every country agreed unanimously to put together and agree to achieving these goals by 2030, that this unanimity is a galvanizing force to bring the world together for good. We also talk about the business case of the global goals, why companies can do good and do better, both in terms of financial and impact, by espousing and supporting the global goals. Today we have with us Chaitra, a very good friend, a leader, a mentor, a phenomenal human being who is leading up Women in Cloud as co-founder, Women in Cloud being a partner of Ideagen along with Microsoft, and also the co-founder of Mela. Chaitra, welcome.
Thank you, George. Thank you so much for having me on the Ideagen TV today.
Well, Chaitra, you are one of those inspirational leaders who help so many individuals, especially at this time, to see beyond the immediate, which is during this global pandemic. The entire world, Chaitra, as you know, for the perhaps very first time, is experiencing a common war, if you may, against this invisible enemy, this virus. And yet at the same time, we see you continuing daily, minute by minute, helping continually focus on helping women with expanding and accelerating the pace of their business success through Women in Cloud and your work at Mela. And along with that, you have espoused and appreciate and support leading on helping to create awareness and develop solutions for the global goals of the United Nations, as I've talked about. We're so excited, first of all, about our partnership. My gosh.
Thank you.
It's incredible to see where we're going together. No one predicted how fast this accelerated partnership could move forward, and also incredibly excited, especially, as I mentioned, at this moment in time, to be looking at the AI Solutions 2030 Solution Design Contest. Could you tell us, what is this design contest all about as we pursue this together?
Thank you, George. First, thank you for having me today. And our partnership with you is probably one of the best highlights that I always talk about, what a real great partnership looks like to solving the global goals. As we started working on, partnership, we really wanted to create is a way for both our communities to come together. If you remember, it's like, what can we do together, which is tech oriented, but doesn't really require a lot of technical coding skills, but also inspiring people to come up with ideas which can solve global goals, right?
That's right.
And that one was, if you remember, we had this 30-minute conversation, and on a napkin, we said, how about we create AI Solutions 2030 as a design contest, which allows both the communities to participate and really bring some amazing ideas into market, and then advance them if they're really good, really provide them the access to resources, and also to the leaders who can really guide them and advise them to really make that idea a reality.
Well, that's incredible. And what a time to be looking at these incredible opportunities to create solutions together, highlighting this AI Solutions 2030 Solution Design Contest. And Chaitra, who can participate in this design contest for solutions?
I would, George, as we talked about, we believe that anyone can participate, right? That's the goal, is that we want people to feel comfortable to get engaged in the UN ideation, right? How to solve the global goals. The way I look at it is the entire communities can participate, from young youth to being in the baby boomers. They all can have the access to participate. But the way we are looking at is really providing a space for more women to be recognized, that they can come up with ideas that can be solved with AI technologies. Because if you look at the market today, 80% of the AI solutions are developed by men. So this is an opportunity for women also to participate in this one. So what we are looking at is it should be a woman-led group, like the team can be there, but we want the team leader to be a woman who can come together. There can't be a team of anywhere from 2 to 5 people who can come together and represent as change makers. They get to pick a UN goal and also a metrics that they are going to support and solve for, and also have a clear concept of what an AI solution looks like, and really be represented as a change maker. Because when you go into solution design work, you really have to wear your hat as a change maker, because when you're solving the UN goals, you have to say, I'm going to make a change on this planet, so how do I go approach it? So it's kind of a mindset also is required.
That's right. And what incredible perspective. I just love the way you described that, because I think, really anyone can help to create these solutions. I mean, it could be youth, it could be someone that's in their next 3rd or 4th or 5th career. It could be anyone across the spectrum and from anywhere, literally across the planet. And so what are some of the deadlines that are coming up for the AI Solutions 2030 Solution Design Contest?
Sure. But first, George, before we go into the deadlines, I want to kind of have people understand what a solution narrative would look like. And the solution narrative for the AI one would look is, you really need to have a context, what context it is, what's the problem you're trying to solve, and which is the UN goal and the metrics that you're going to address. Define the solution, which is an AI-powered solution, because it has to be like where you're using AI services to solve it. For example, if I'm going to solve the goal number 1, which is end poverty and hunger, then I need to figure out which detailed metric that I'm going to be addressing. And number 2 is, what kind of AI solution can I do? Am I discovering an issue? Am I tracing some issue? Or am I aggregating some data from the world and then trying to provide a dashboard? And then what will be the outcome if we deploy that solution in the market, and the team members who are going to work together? So that's an important piece of how a solution narrative needs to be submitted. I always talk about the COVID tracker, the first COVID tracker, which was created by an 18-year-old kid. What he did was he aggregated data from Twitter, from different systems, and pulled all this one using an AI engine. And then he aggregated all the pieces so everybody could see where the current cases of COVID is. So that one is something, George, that needs to happen. But some of the deadlines for here is July 31st is a submission deadline. We want to have the review by August 14th by the internal team. And then we actually do is our solution interviews, which is open to public. So they get to hear all these great solutions are. But first thing is they have to go and apply to participate. And there's no cost for them.
Even better. Developing solutions, no fee. It sounds like a winning recipe. And so, so you mentioned that they can present and folks will be able to watch those presentations, which is really phenomenal. How are these finalists selected?
So how are these finalists? Once the nomination is done, what we want to do is we will pick the top 10 finalists, George, and then bring your community and our community, few leaders, and they interview these ideas. And then we get to top 10. Once the top 10 comes out, then we actually go into is the public to come and vote, because it will be like a mini pitch challenge. So people get to see and feel it and hear what that idea is. And that's the intention. And then we get to pick them for the awards that, collectively what we are working on.
Sure, that sounds like an incredibly powerful recipe. And so how does someone create the elements? Like what are the important elements of what you would consider to be a high impact solution narrative?
Sure. So George, if you look at it, which I already mentioned, is you need to have is a context, what the context is, what's the problem they are trying to solve, which UN goal and metrics they are going to be addressing, and how you're going to define an AI-based solution, and what will be and how it's going to be deployed, and what does the outcome look like when it's deployed. They don't have to build it, but they need to know how it's going to be deployed, and then they need to know who their team members are who are working on the solution.
Incredible. And so how does one submit a solution idea?
So if you look at on the screen, basically go to our website, which is womenincloud.com/AI Solutions 2030. And that's where there is an apply button. It's a very simple form. It takes 5 to 7 minutes to really submit it, but it really takes time for them to work with as a team to really submit that solution.
Well, Chaitra, that sounds like such an incredible opportunity, literally, again, for anyone who has an idea relating to any one of these 17 global goals. We have 17 goals with sub-targets that were agreed upon, again, by all 193 member states of the United Nations, including the United States of America. And so these goals are broad, but they include no poverty, equality and equity, clean water, access to energy, and so many more, and including and finalizing with global partnerships. And so for anyone who has ideas, what an opportunity. And also I'd like to ask, Chaitra, what do the winning teams get?
Well, George, as we talked about, there's a lot of recognition and awards that goes with it. There are some surprises that we will put at the end, and that's how we kind of want people to join the journey. And then there will be a press release we will be doing, and then also an interview on your Ideagen TV. Instead of me, the winner will be sitting and you will be interviewing them, George. That's pretty cool, right?
Oh, it's all cool. Chaitra, you continually inspires so many. And the millions that are having access to Ideagen TV will have an opportunity again to hear from you about the importance of developing solutions to ultimately help achieve the global goals. These are global goals. These aren't just UN goals. These are global goals, 17 global goals that we espouse together with Women in Cloud and Microsoft and all the organizations and individuals across the planet that work with us and follow us and listen to these key leaders coming together. We're so excited. As Chaitra mentioned, visit womenincloud.org to apply and join the movement to create these solutions. Chaitra, thank you so much for your inspiration.
Thank you, George. This is fabulous. Thank you for having me today and giving me the opportunity to share how people can participate in AI Solutions 2030.
Chaitra Badulapalli, co-founder, Women in Cloud, proud partner of Ideagen, and so excited to be changing the world together.
Thank you.